everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. So thank you everybody for the lovely compliments about my hair. I'm really enjoying this new autumn phase. And funnily enough, the two people that I will be speaking about in this video are also redheads, although they're more natural redheads. Or one of them was a former redhead, because let's be honest, he's not got a lot left up there these days. I reckon Harry must really regret when he decided to take the mickey out of Prince William losing his hair, because he looks actually far worse than his brother. Someone said the other day, which made me laugh, he does look like a fox with mange. Oh, bit harsh, but nowhere near as harsh as the horrible things that Harry has said about his family. Now, the other royal, my favourite redheaded royal. She is someone that I have campaigned to become some sort of a hybrid working royal, because I think that she would be great at it. Well, I've had some news down the grapevine, as it were, that's put a pin in my balloon and it's left me feeling a little bit sad. So I've called the video Bad News, because I've got bad news about Bea, and Harry is just bad news, especially for the royal family, and more so for his brother and the Princess of Wales, because Harry has decided, not that he's pissed his brother off enough, he's decided that he's just going to drag Catherine and William into his latest court case, which starts in January 2026 against the Daily Mail and the Mail on Sunday. Now, a few people are saying, well, perhaps this is why they have got such a strong allegiance of trying to paint William and Catherine as the bad guys and Harry and Meghan as the good guys. But my theory doesn't really work with that, because I don't believe that Harry has got enough evidence, in all honesty, to win this court case, much like the others. Harry likes to talk the talk, doesn't he? He goes in there, sword swinging, he's going in to slay the dragons. And let's be honest, Harry does have literally a balloon sword. Harry is the one that always ends up a little bit toasted. It's quite embarrassing the number of times we've heard Harry, through his lawyers, have to say, well, I don't have any evidence of that. No, I don't have evidence of that. Well, I thought you did have evidence. That's why you started the whole court case. But oh no. So what has Harry decided to do in this? Well, he's decided to use examples of when Catherine and William were hacked as evidence. It's almost like he's going, well, it happened to my brother, so that means it must have happened to me. Okay then. So Catherine and William, everybody knows that Catherine and William got hacked. Catherine's phone was hacked, her family was stalked. There was all sorts of things that happened, which was just awful when you think that they were just a young couple in love and you had all of these media hounds doing awful things, invading their privacy. It was Prince William who cottoned on to the fact that there were things ending up in the media that shouldn't be, and there's no way that they could have been found out unless someone was hacking them. So because Prince William pushed for this, it eventually kind of snowballed and ended up as the Leveson inquiry. This is where the News of the World got shut down. Rupert Murdoch got in a whole load of trouble. Millions were paid out to so many victims. I mean, it really, really was horrific. Catherine and William got a payout themselves, which Harry tried to vilify last year. We only had it confirmed that they had in fact received a payout, because I think everybody had gathered that they had settled outside of court, but Harry decided to release it in one of his other many court cases to try and paint Prince William out in a way to be a villain again, like, oh, I know something, I'm going to release this, because he was trying to say that William was in bed with the media. So by saying, well, he took money off of Rupert Murdoch, Harry has been taking settlement figures off of all of these other court cases. He can't see the hypocrisy in his own actions of what he was trying to vilify his brother for. Now, not only did Catherine and William get a payout, they donated that payout to charity. Could you see Harry and Meghan doing that? Oh, hell no, they wouldn't. But the fact is that Catherine and William decided to give the huge lump sum of that money to Harry's Invictus Games, which I honestly find it so disgraceful that he never will acknowledge that. But here he is trying to use what Catherine and William went through, which, let's be honest, this was years ago. It's a chapter closed in their books. They have moved on from that, which is something that Harry just is completely incapable of doing regarding anything in his life, where he's decided to give the evidence to the judge saying, Well, it happened to them, so it must have happened to me. No wonder the judge is rumoured to be very annoyed, Justice Nicklin. He has apparently turned around and snapped back at Harry's lawyers saying, you've been building up this court case for 2 years. Why didn't you submit this in the last couple of years? But no, you've done it a couple of months before it starts. So it's just more paperwork for everybody to go through. And that's not the only bit of news to come out for Harry and this case against Associated News, because the court has now been informed that researchers working for Harry's legal team hatched a scheme to avoid the statute of limitations by using the Byline Times, which is an alternative media website and paper which was launched in 2019. Associated News tried to get this court case thrown out, or at least some of the claims, because they date back so many decades ago. But Harry's legal team managed to successfully argue that new evidence had come to light. So my basic understanding of this is they are saying that news stories were fed to the Byline Times, which has now been used as evidence to manipulate the case and the statute of limitations. If it gets found out that Harry and his legal team have been caught up in something as shady as this, you know Harry is going to hold his hands up in the air and go, it wasn't me, I didn't know anything about it. But I fail to see how they can use what happened to other people as evidence to bolster, to give gravitas to Harry's court case. Surely the only evidence you can hand over to win this case is stuff that's happened to you. I mean, that's like Harry handing over all of the names to all of the victims that were hit by the news of the world and the phone hacking scandal, going, look, it happened to all of these people, so it must have happened to me. That's his game plan. That's his evidence. After everything that he has done to William and Catherine, and now he goes, oh, do you know what I'll do next? I'll drag them into my latest court case because they'll really appreciate that. Harry is not enjoying the fact that Prince William pretends that he no longer exists. So I think that he is going to continue to try and barb his brother. So for anybody thinking, oh, I think William will soften to him soon because, you know, the king's seen him. Oh yeah, that went well, didn't it? And now he's dragging Catherine and William, trying to drag them into one of his messes again. As I said, I think he's doing it for headlines because, well, also the fact that I don't think Harry has a lot of evidence to give the judge. So now he's trying to use his brother's evidence as, you know, it happened to him, it must have happened to me. Sound logic there. I think there's so many people that could have won their court cases if that sort of evidence was actually allowed. Now, let's get on to the bad news about Bea, Princess Beatrice. I love Princess Beatrice. I've always liked Princess Beatrice. I think that she would make a wonderful working royal. She's sweet, she's kind, she's got her head down. She hasn't been involved in any scandals apart from the scandal of wearing one of the worst outfits to a wedding ever. She and her partner in crime, her sister Princess Eugenie, probably should have done a few days in the cells just for wearing those outfits. But no, aside from that, she really hasn't got herself into trouble. She was very loyal to her grandparents. I thought her wedding to Edo, wearing Queen Elizabeth's dress and a tiara, oh, it was magic. It was honestly one of the most romantic royal weddings that, you know, we didn't see a lot of, but it was just beautiful. It really was. So I've always had a lot of time for Princess Beatrice, and I've never agreed with the York princesses being tarred with the same brush as their parents, as I felt with all of the recent revelations that have come out against Andrew and Fergie, all the lies that they have been telling. And it's that age-old, the sins of the father. Should they be punished for the things that their parents have done? No, I don't believe that they should. Now, I know many of you don't quite warm up to Princess Eugenie, which is understandable because many of you couldn't understand how she could continue her friendship with Harry and Meghan after Oprah. And I agree, it did look bad, especially as she appeared in the Netflix series as well. So it's obvious she spent a fair amount of time with them. But I've always been on the fence wondering if the royal family had said to Eugenie, look, you're still close to Harry, please can you go over there and just see if he's okay. I mean, let's remember that Harry had changed personality. He packed up everything. He'd gone across to America like he had been kidnapped by a cult. There could have been an element there where they were saying to Eugenie, just check it out, see if they've got anything else planned. Can you find out anything? Or it could have been for more selfish reasons. Eugenie could have been going over there to make sure that Harry and Meghan don't say anything to do with their parents. With Andrew, Lord alone knows he was in enough trouble at the time anyway because of all the revelations that had come out with his former friend. So yes, there could be multiple reasons why Eugenie was there. But we haven't, after Netflix, seen that close relationship. They haven't been looking cozy. She's certainly not been over to stay with them. There are rumours that they've gone on holiday together. But with Meghan, I'm sorry, it didn't happen if there are no photographs, because as we know, she will always call the paparazzi. But Beatrice, she has never been tarred with that brush because she never really seemed to warm to Harry and Meghan. She'd be smiling with them at the odd engagement, but she wasn't over there. She wasn't part of that. She didn't continue being friends with them after all of that big fallout. If anything, you've seen her grown closer to Catherine and William. They went to a royal wedding together. You see her at Ascot. And I think on the whole with Beatrice, since she married Edo, she became a stepmother to Wolfie. She's had 2 little girls. She has just grown in confidence and thankfully fashion sense as well. And I just really liked seeing her together with all of the royal family. And I thought that she'd be a great set of extra heels on the ground, especially as the older royals are beginning to retire. But where I thought, hang on a minute, this seems a bit odd, was when it was announced that Princess Beatrice had stepped down from the Outward Bound Trust, a educational charity loved by Prince Philip that uses outdoor adventures in the wild settings to inspire and teach life skills to young people. I thought, why are you stepping down? That seems a bit weird. She wasn't asked to step down, and apparently she's still going to remain close to the charity with an announcement to be made shortly. But it made me think, why? This isn't anything that you've done, sins of the father and all that. Why would you step down? So I started looking a little bit deeper. Now, there are a few rumours circulating with Princess Beatrice with her business, investing in tech. There's a lot of deals going on with the Middle East. We often see her in Abu Dhabi and Saudi, and I don't know, it's just something there that seems a bit too reminiscent of Prince Andrew's travels as a special envoy, you know, his hitch at palace, which all turned out to be a little bit dodgy. There's been lots of backhanders. And not only that, I'm also finding it weird that Andrew and Fergie, as parents, you think that they would have come straight out saying, look, it was us, we have done the most ridiculous things, we're really sorry, please leave our daughters out of it, they've got nothing to do with it, they knew nothing. Obviously they knew nothing when they were younger, but there's an element of it when you think, well, how much did they know, how much were they aware of as they got older? But Andrew and Fergie haven't said anything in defence of their daughters at all, trying to make sure that they've got a clear slate and they're not punished alongside the whole House of York. And it started to make me think, why is that? Firstly, and more obviously, we know that Andrew and Fergie are very similar, that they probably see no wrong in anything that they've done, so they don't feel that they need to apologise. But secondly, is it because there's going to be more stuff that is due to come out that might implicate the princesses with their parents' shenanigans? So, with that in mind, I could only think of one person who would be the best person that I could ask these questions to, who most recently has been in the headlines because of his latest book. This is, of course, Andrew Lowney, who recently released entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. Now, I met Andrew briefly when I appeared on a segment on the Dan Wootton's Outspoken show. And as you guys know, I don't interview people. I haven't got the setup. I don't have the software. It's just not really my style. There's so many incredible YouTubers that do interviews, and I just think I wouldn't really bring anything new to the party, as it were. But I thought, oh, maybe I'll message Andrew and see if he can give me any information. So after half a glass of wine, I decided to ask because I think I knew that it wasn't going to be great news, to be honest with you. But I thought, okay, so I just said, "Hi, Andrew. Hope you're well. How deeply involved is Beatrice? If involved at all, can she be a working royal? Can I have your thoughts on this?" And Andrew came back to me with that pin, and this was my balloon. He said, yes, she is heavily involved. She's picked up contracts for, I'm presuming, her own business. Like I said, with her doing a lot of dealings in the Middle East. He said she picked up a lot of the contacts when she was traveling with her father, supporting Pitch at Palace, promoting Saudi banks, and has been using her own accounts to help with her father's, I would say, investments. And more information is going to be coming out because Andrew is doing his paperback. This is Andrew Lowney, the author, not Prince Andrew. He is going to be dropping his paperback in the summer, and he will have additional chapters where he's going into detail to do with the daughters, the York princesses' involvement. So I'm honestly really upset about this because there were so many of you going, no. I don't trust either one of them. And I was like, no, but B's different. I mean, I've even championed Eugenie, thinking perhaps she was just trying to keep an eye on Harry, make sure everything's okay, looking out for her family. I don't know, maybe even spying for the royal family. I try to see the good in people. So this bit of news is honestly really upset me because I really like Beatrice, and I'm hoping there's going to be evidence to the contrary to give B a clean slate, and it is all to do with her parents. But given the amount of research and the years that Andrew Lowney has looked into this, plus of course having legal go through it as well, it's not looking too good. So we might find that we sadly never see the day with Princess Beatrice standing on that balcony waving alongside any of the other royals. Time will tell. It will all come out in the wash, as they say. And I know there's going to be some of you going, see, I told you, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But I was expecting one rotten apple, not the entire tree needing to be cut down. So guys, that's it for me on this video. Tell me your thoughts about Harry dragging his brother and his sister-in-law, the Prince and Princess of Wales, into another of his ridiculous court cases against the media. And I will be back with you very soon with lots of Prince William news. Take care for now. Bye.